Good afternoon, welcome to the final where Brighton and Hove Albion won, Everton won, down at the AMEX. A good point for Everton.
5 points, wasn't it?
Do it?
Got
5 points.
Yeah.
We've got 5 points.
Criticised, 5 points.
Yeah.
Literally
One game.
5 points. I mean, we broke records. It's the longest we've gone without a win for 30 years. And we just got 5 points for getting a draw.
Yeah.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it, little Dickie. Do you want about Jack? In the studio. Jack, a good point against a good side who doesn't lose many home games. Haven't lost their home since West Ham beat them back in August. And look how good West Ham are.
Yeah, a frustrating point at the same time, though, when you look at, being so close to victory and having it slip away from us so late as well, and just the manner we conceded in as well, and the fact that we did manage to give away 2 points and goal while being a man up as well. It does speak to some of the things we have been concerned about with this Everton side as well. Like you say, though, it is the type of point that before the game you go, yeah, I'll take that. Within the context of the game and how things shape up, I expected more from them, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be massively upbeat here because it was, overall it was a good point, and obviously I want to be really upbeat that we've got 4 points back, but I am. The more I think about it, I still find it an injustice because I'll never ever think that unless it's written down in black and white that is what happens. You get points deducted if you do this, then they've still plucked the figure out the sky, but we have got those 4 points back. But I was frustrated after the game, I must admit, because to be 1-0 up and to be down to 10 men ped with what ended up being 20 minutes to play with the injury time.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed the way we just give the ball up when we had the extra man. They looked like they had the extra man in them last 20 minutes. It hadn't really been like that in the second half.
You can't play the game in isolation of I know loads of people say, I would have took a point before the game. You're 1-0 up, they've got 10 men. And it's on you then to just see the game out. Yeah. And that's what the disappointing part is. You can't take that away. You can't look at it and go, wow, those things didn't... We were 1-0 up. And all we've got to do, I'd say is do what we've done in other games this season, which is have an out ball, be able to stretch them, be able to just make sure we do the basics, which is closing down, making sure we stop crosses, not giving away stupid corners. These are the basics that I think we've been doing all season in a lot of games. And that's what makes it really... It's so frustrating because it's 2 huge points. It's having a win that we haven't had for ages. It's going somewhere and saying, we won there, we won at Brighton again. It's just all those little things, and that's what makes it really frustrating. It is those 2 extra points with what we've learned today. Everything would just look a little bit better, and people go, "You're negative." Well, yeah, I'm negative in that term because Everton Football Club need as many points as they can, and you shouldn't look at it and say, "Oh, it was a good point." I don't think it's a good point because we were winning with 1-0 against 10 men with 6 minutes to go, or whatever when they scored. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but would you have took a point at 3 o'clock?
I would have, but that's not the point, is it?
No,
you know what I mean?
Listen,
that's not the point.
I've said I'm frustrated with the fact that we conceded so poorly and the way we played in the last 20 minutes, Jack, with people... Again, I'm quite sure loads will disagree with me on this, but I do keep hearing this thing that what do you expect with these players? As if these players are like National League players who've been asked to play in the Premier League. These footballers are better than what we make them do, I think. I'm not saying they're world-class players because they're not. And I've used this before of it's patterns of play. It's having outballs, as Ped just said. It's having a way of attacking. A lot of that's on the coaching team and the manager. Sean Dyche has done a really good job away from home since he come in. Everton were so soft away from home over the last few... Well, probably since Carlo left. We had that COVID season, we won 12 away games, but it was a little bit of a false season, wasn't it? We won more away games probably than we would have done had it been normal, and we lost more home games than we probably would have done in that normal season. So he's really done well to close that out and make us more resilient. But some of the way we play is dreadful in terms of we just give the ball up, but it can't all be levelled at Sean Dyche and the coaching team. them players cross the white line. The professional footballers playing in the Premier League, we've seen them do some really good things. But right now, some of the decision making from them is terrible. And in that last 20 minutes, why weren't we, particularly when we got into like 91, 92 minutes, why weren't we just turning them into corner flags and getting better running after it? Why did we give up the ball so much? And it's something we do. And Brighton have got a good side. They're not all world-class players, but they're coached brilliantly and they move the ball around brilliantly. And I think Everton could. At times we did do it in some moments. We moved it. Why don't we do more of that? Or am I just moaning for the sake?
No,
and I'm not.
I don't get that.
I get where you're coming from, and it's frustrating because there was certain instances in this game where we did show a little bit more of on-the-ball ability. Remember in the first half, Tarkowski plays this long ball out to Mykolenko and he takes it down. It actually comes from a minute or two of just moving the ball around the back. Yeah. We draw their press out and make a bit of space. Tarkowski plays that ball to Mykolenko a few times a game, but it's usually quite heavily contested. He just sprays it straight out to him, and then Mikkel's got a lot of work to do. We move the ball around a bit, draw them out. Mykolenko then finds himself in a bit of space. I think we're perfectly capable of doing that all the time, or definitely variations of that. That isn't making us become 2010 Spain, Pep Guardiola's Barcelona side.
And I want to point out, right, that I'm not someone who loves 850 passes, by the way. I'm really not. I'm not wanting to go back to Roberto Martinez. I just want us to use it on those occasions, use the ball better. And that comes from the coaching. It also comes from the players having to take some responsibility on the ball.
I'm exactly the same, Baz. I don't care about entertainment value in our current situation. I'm not one who wants to have the ball for the sake of having the ball. There just becomes a point, especially certain situations like this, where you've got a man advantage, where how much you have the ball starts to become an indicator of how well you're performing.
Yeah.
Some people massively overlook into that way of viewing football and think possession equals good performance. It doesn't. But to a certain degree it does. How much you can get on the ball against a team who has 10 men speaks to your quality or your coaching to a degree.
Now let me ask you this, because me and Ped discussed this, and I'll go back to Ped in a sec, but the starting 11 didn't have Amadou Onana in it, which I literally scratched my head just at that moment, scratched my head over, because he's our best midfield player, and the manager obviously loves James Garner, and I really like James Garner, but out the two, Onana's better right now. Gives us more protection in front of the back four. Adrissa has to play because he puts out so many fires. So if you go with a two-man midfield, it really should have been Amadou Onana and Adrissa Gueye, really. What he could have done, if he wanted James Garner to play, is played him on the right hand. He seems to have no problem dropping Jack Harrison at times, so he could have played James Garner in front of Ben Godfrey and had that little bit of insurance. I mean, on the other side, one player I would think is really lucky to be playing right now, just on current forms, Dwight McNeil. But I understand why he's there because of the corners with the left foot. But Jack Harrison, if he really wanted to play, Jack could have played on the left. But I just felt as though Amadou Onana had to play, because he makes us a better team when he plays. I mean, what's your reading of it? Yeah,
look, I'm a fan of Onana, I always have been. Have there been moments where he's frustrated me? Absolutely, but I've always been a fan of the lad since he walked through the door. I think there's levels of performance he's capable of that our other midfielders aren't. And yeah, he does have the occasional bad game, but he's had some strong performances this year, not just the last 2 games where he's came on and be our best midfielder. The last 3 games, he's came on and been our best midfielder. As well, and I think that's because he's our only midfielder who gets on the ball with his next pass in mind, and that speaks to being able to move the ball a bit quicker, be able to draw players out, because you've got a midfielder who knows where the ball's going when he receives it.
Confidence on the ball.
Confidence. I think, look, I like Garner. I think he's a good lad, and I think he can be with this team for a long period and always be a good player. I don't think there's that much he does better than Onana. I think he probably works a little bit harder off the ball, and I think maybe if you look at his chance creation stats, his final ball into the box is a little bit better. Maybe tries it a bit more often than Onana does. But I think just in terms of general midfield, passing, receiving the ball in your own half and doing something with it next, Onana's superior. He's better physically. He's better in the tackle, better in the air. He can drive with the ball. I think he is our best midfielder, Onana, and you see the increase in our quality on the ball, which is already quite low when you get Onana on the pitch. And Yeah, Dyche's hand was forced really to bring Onana on as early as he did, because obviously Gay goes down with a bit of a knock, and that is a shame. But if there is a positive from that, Dyche has to play Onana now. We absolutely should be in this team.
Yeah, I mean, James Garner only attempted 3 forward passes in the game, so only attacking third. So, you know, he's got to get better. Didn't win a single tackle like that the weekend, and those numbers will always show up.
It sets the narrative, doesn't it? It just sets the narrative of what you're doing. You know, if Garner and Garner Gay are playing, you know that you're going to have 2 holding midfielders who are just going to drop in and make it hard. And I understand that's a game plan, but I just for me, it's setting the tone of what you want to do. We're naturally going to play long balls, of course. We have. You've got to have a little bit more than that occasionally. You've got to be able to get players in a position to score goals, haven't you? That's literally what the point of the sport is. And I think Onana does that. I don't think you lose anything with him. I think he draws players in brilliantly as well to break the press as well. And I think it just, for me in the last couple of games, I just hope this doesn't become a trend, because it is massively... It's depressing to watch at times. It really does. It really takes, certainly for me, I look at the team sheet, I'm just like, what are we going to do then? Because otherwise we're just going to be going with set pieces again, aren't we? Everything's going to be set pieces. I think the opening 25, I've said this before on the aftermatch stuff, and the opening 25 minutes was the most one-sided Premier League game I've seen for a while. It was attack v defence, and we defended really well, don't get me wrong, we didn't give up great chances for them, but we just didn't have the ball. We just kept giving the ball away, and it was just, we'd get rid of it. Pickford, I don't know what he tries sometimes with his passing, which puts us in trouble. And we're having to just be on that defensive all the time, because the 2 lads, Garner and Garner, are working really hard in that midfield. But it did create their opportunity to just keep getting the ball back and just move. And because we've only got 2 in there, because the Corey was a bit higher, they just cut through us with box. They just played in boxes and went through us, and then the Dringer was on the ball a lot and all that. But one thing we do is we do generally defend quite well. And we did do that, and then we eventually got into the game a little bit. But we got to half-time, and at half-time, they'd had 10 attempts at goal to 0. And that is a Premier League game of football. Yeah. And we haven't had a single attempt at goal in a 48 minutes, whatever it was he played. You know, an XG of 0. Against the team who had 6 odd points more than us.
Yeah, 7 at kick-off, yeah. 7 at kick-off.
They ain't 7 more points than us. I mean, that's a huge gulf.
Just mad, because there's little things like, I said to you before, we had a throw-in in their half in the first half, 30 yards inside their half, and Ben Godfrey threw it back into our... And it's like, why are you going all the way back to Pickford, who will then kick it back to even closer than where we... You know what I mean? It's even closer to our goal than where the throw-in was. He'd done one on the edge of the box. Godfrey threw it back to Tarkowski. They closed Tarkowski down. It went back to Pickford. It's like, we had an attack and throw-in on the edge of their penalty area. And it's those kind of things that I just go, we are going the other way, you know, lads. Like, if there's a shot on, have a shot. We done the one you're talking about. We play some nice football. Tarkowski switches it, I think, gets Michalenko in. He fires one across, and Lewis Dunk just nicks it off the top of Dom. Sound, that was nice and sharp. Well, let's do that again, because that caused them problems. We don't. McNeil on a break, Steven through the middle, just carry it to White and just have a go. Tries to play it past through 3 men and kicks it out for it, and was our throw-in the lines and give it to them somehow. But it was like there was no reason to force the pass, because there was a load of grass in front of you to keep going. And like Dwight last year, a couple of times would have got that out of his feet and just had a shot. And it's like, you've got to be in the game, and there's just those decisions as well. And, you know, at half time, when you look at them stats and you go, no attempts at goal. I mean, look at them. 3,000 Evertonians had gone down there on Saturday and had endured that first half. And people can go, well, it's the game plan. It was 0-0. It didn't matter. But it could have mattered, couldn't it? And I think we're not like a gang of kids playing in a men's league and you're just getting through. These are professional footballers that can kick a football. surely.
No, they are capable of doing more than what they're currently doing on the ball as well. I don't think it's the best squad in the league by any means, but
no one's
just in
saying
terms
that,
of, no, I understand as well. I'm just.
I watched Sheffield United, who were going down, they're gone. I watched them at Wolves, and Wolves were playing really well this season. Okay, Wolves won the game. Sheffield United were flying forward all the time. It's just that they had Ryan Brewster up front, you know what I mean? He scored 1 goal in about 800 games. But they were flying forward and having shots and that, and it's like, I know there's a balance. They lost the game, where people go, they lost somebody. But what I'm saying is, we are an alright side, but like a mid-table side, so we can attack teams.
It's about taking a little bit of that, isn't it? It's like I said the other week, it's about keeping the scales balanced. You can keep the defensive side of things the priority and keep us a well-organised, well-drilled side. Just adding a little 5 or 10% and now we can go forward without compromising the numbers we have at the back. Just develop a better plan on the ball. The Godfrey throw-in situation, I think, is the epitome of not having a plan on the ball. Most of the time when people complain about, you know, what Everton aren't doing with the ball, I can turn around and say, yeah, but he's got to keep us organised because that's his plan. He doesn't want to sacrifice that. I completely get that. In situations like that where you're sacrificing attack and throw-in, to go back to the keeper, open, he'll put one up the pitch and it'll just land perfectly to force a corner. That is a lack of a plan. There is enough quality in this team for Godfrey to do that throw, play a 1-2 with the winger and try and swing a crossing.
Or, I mean, what you've always done, as far as football's been concerned, is you throw it towards the corner flag and you'd have your striker there to play it off and get another throw, and then you get a corner. And Everton are good off corners, but that one when we went back reminds me of like the kids team that I coached. It was like, we'd take a kick-off, and like this was my lad taking the kick-off, and he'd knock it back to our centre-back on the edge of the box to kick it back to basically where we kicked off from. So I'm like, Zach, stop it. Play it short and let them, and then you go and let them knock it forward. And when I look us go back to Pickford, who ends up just smashing it towards Dom, who was on the halfway line anyway, that blows my mind up. Throw it down the line. Yeah. Try and get a corner then, because we are really strong off set pieces. So I'd even get that. I don't understand us throwing it
They're
back.
like minor things, aren't they?
They are little bits, but they're the
game plan's not like, no one's like saying the game plan's wrong. You know what, we know what we're trying to do to keep clean sheets and keep the opportunities down to a minimum. But these are just like little things that could move us up the pitch and give us openings
that was stronger.
Yeah, and the more you're on the ball and the more you're creating momentum, the better chance you've got in a game. You know, you can't always rely on set pieces, and there's just little things for me that, as I said, you come to that last 10 minutes and it all plays out because of those things, because you can't get on the ball.
We obviously, you know, had a word at half time, maybe, whatever. We come out second half and we had Dwight McNeil did well on the left hand side, got away from two with the crossing, and the Corey, who I didn't think had a very good game at the weekend, but he's showing what he's capable of, and he comes in, great volley over the keeper, and Tarek Lamptey makes an unbelievable goal line clear. It's tremendous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. For, you know, a small lad as well, he makes the most
of it. Net crash, to be able to clear that off the line.
For it. Decore actually catches it really well. You know, for hard chance to take, he catches it really well. Decore, and I think 9 times out of 10 that's a goal if he catches it that well. But Lamptey does brilliantly, and those are the moments in a game you can consider yourself unlucky. You know, you've made a chance.
That could have hit 50 pence had them been in the net, couldn't it? You know what I mean?
That is a situation where you've been unlucky, but you know, I've said this before. You look at teams that you go, oh, they're so lucky, or it always just seems to work for them. It's because they're making so many chances. Yeah, eventually they'll get lucky with one. You can't make one chance and bank on getting lucky on that chance.
This is the thing, though, for me, and I'm saying this like watching it with my dad. I was saying, like, look what happens when we actually go forward, though. We've had, you know, the one in the first half, Dunk just takes it off Dom's head. I don't know whether Dom would have scored, but he, you know, they backed him to the target. And then we have that one off the line. Then we had the free kick, which came in, and I think Jarrad Branthwaite should have gone for goal with his foot. He stretched with his head to head it back towards Dom, and he just couldn't get it there. But I think if he lets it run across his body, it's on his left foot for a volley. And we ultimately get the goal from that set piece. You know, the ball, you know, Jordan Pickford knocks a ball into the edge of the box. Tarkowski doing what he does really well, makes a nuisance of himself. Branthwaite, great first touch, and arrows in the top corner, and it's a brilliant goal from a tremendous footballer, and you win them 1-0, and from then you're thinking, look, we've, you know, when we've got in their box, we've actually caused them some problems. You know, we had a ball in from on the left-hand side, which Beto should have really scored with. He had a slide off his head to the goalie, and then we had one from the other side after Beto does really well to win a free kick. Garner whips it in, a vicious ball in, and he gets under it, Beto, he can't connect, and neither can Branthwaite. And you were like, we've had opportunities to get a couple of goals here, but Ped, just going back to the goal, what a fantastic goal by Jarrad Branthwaite.
Yeah, again, comes from a good set piece into the box, and yeah, I mean, just smashes it, doesn't he? Left foot, and
got a 10 million on the price.
Got that kind of confidence, hasn't he? And he's got that kind of stature now in the Premier League where it's just like no one gets shocked by it. We all know that he's a little bit better than just a normal centre back. He's got more elements to his game. He's got more composure. Yeah, and it's just nice to see. He scored a couple now, only 2 in 4 games. So getting more of the habit, hopefully. We just got to keep it going.
Toffee goes full Lescott, continues to score goals.
City.
Well, he will eventually.
The
left foot.
They get smashed by Arsenal in the last
goal.
game.
No, hopefully not that. We saw him growing, didn't we? In terms
of worrying prediction now.
In terms of, yeah, nice one, Jack. In the second half, you know, near the end, when their player goes in and he slides in the box and gets an important foot on it, and the lad goes down, he's up and he's over him, and you're seeing that little bit of needle from him, and you know,
well,
bit
you
of
can
aggression.
tell as well, Tarkowski's in front
he was straight up. Well, he's over and smashes him in the chest, doesn't he?
Like, yeah, see, taught you that, didn't I? I taught him that.
But he's a, I hate using that phrase, he's a Rolls Royce.
No, he's brilliant.
He's a Tesla,
yeah, no, he's better than a Tesla. Teslas are quite ugly cars, but yeah, he's brilliant. I'm just very happy to have him here, and what is a tough season, because I do think that where would we be without Branthwaite? To be honest, like, not even just moments like this, just defensively, he's close enough to perfect every single week, and he's just a brilliant centre half. And yeah, I don't like talking about players leaving, but one day he most likely will leave, and I'm sure we'll miss him quite a lot, because players of that quality don't often come to Everton.
Nice one, Jack.
Both years of depression.
It got to obviously Amadou Onana come on, and he'd already come on, hadn't he? We lost to Disagana Gay, 3 minutes into the second half, which made me feel like he was already injured at half.
Well, the manager said he spoke about it at half time. He said he was all right to carry on, but again, I found that a mad decision. The man, I think,
with the groin,
I think they should have just took him off at half time.
And just with the quality of player you've got on the bench as well, like, it doesn't need to stay on when you've got a better midfielder on the bench.
But Onana come on and he got us a bit of control into the game, as far as I'm concerned. Started getting his foot on the ball and moving it, and that was when we did start to actually create, you know, a few half chances, if you like. And then he was subject of what was a terrible tackle by Billy Gilmore. You know, really naughty. Could have broke his ankle. It was such a bad challenge from Gilmore, and a good referee in this. I mean, he made it immediately. That, you know, watching it, just the reaction of players, you realise it's not a good one, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're seeing the Everton players going berserk immediately, and it was like, and he went straight to the pocket. The ref didn't even need to be advised or anything. It was just, and the VAR confirmed it within, which is exactly how VAR should work. They looked at it within like 5 seconds and gone, yeah,
tell very obviously.
Right. But that was the moment from then. Up until then, we'd done a really compact job without being great. We were doing a really good structural job of keeping the lead, and it all unravelled when Billy Gilmore went off, when it shouldn't have done. We should have gone up and either killed it off, which I know we're not really a team that breaks and kills games off, but we should have been able to use the ball better at that moment. And when I was looking at the possession stats, it actually went worse when they went down to 10 men, which wound me up a little bit, I'll be honest, because the players should have known to keep the ball a little bit better. And again, I just totally refute anyone that says they're not capable of doing it, because we have proved we are capable of doing it.
No, because player mentality comes into it, doesn't it? Because if the possession gets worse when they go a man down, I think that shows the These teams know that they're the underdogs on the pitch most weeks and know we work without the ball and we'll just have to work harder than them and force it. I think when it becomes a situation where, okay, we now have to win because we really should be winning because we're already winning and they've lost a man. So, like, really, it's going to be a bit embarrassing for us if we don't win this. I think they feel that pressure. In terms of, Branthwaite said, oh, yeah, we were just trying to sit back and see the game out as well. He
wasn't happy though, was he?
No, but players still know themselves if they get an opportunity on the ball to keep hold of it, they are still going to do it, regardless of what the coaching is, because they're not going to just get rid of the ball. Just because the instructions are sit back, they'll still keep the ball if they can. So I think the fact that they were unable to just speaks to, yeah, player ability does come into it because they're not the greatest players, but they are good enough to keep the ball more than they did. So mentality comes in it for me, and I think they struggled with that expectancy that we really should be winning this game now.
Is that a problem, Peg? Because we went into Monday night against Palace and there was a lot of expectancy on Everton. I think the manager did. The manager alluded to this after it, didn't he? And said, kind of saying it does seem like when there's a different set of pressure on them, they're not reacting in the way we'd want them to.
I just thought there was a lack of bravery in that period of time. I just thought there was a lack of bravery on the ball, no lack of bravery to make the right decision, and it just become a case of just get rid of the ball as fast as possible. Yeah. And Brighton, 10 men and 11 men, they're going to be good in possession. They're going to create opportunities, but if you've allowed them that, they got momentum where there hadn't been any momentum. No. I don't know whether there's the sub impacted on that by taking the Corey off and having one less player up front. Because at the end of the day, what we said is, come and break us down. And they did.
So was there an argument then? I've seen a couple of people say it in the comments, who've just put Michael Keane on it and gone, we'll go 3 at the back, and if you're going to cross it, we'll defend it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're looking for. I mean, I don't know what he was properly trying to do, but I'd maybe, I mean, you could have brought Chimiti on maybe and said, well, go on then, we've got 2 out balls now.
Be mobile.
Yeah, we've got 2 out balls.
See, I'd have gone Coleman. I'd have gone Coleman in front of Godfrey and Jack Harrison off Beto, just doing that bit in front. And then you've got somebody who might travel with the ball, but Chimiti.
Yeah. No, it's a variation on the same theme. That's the only thing I'd say is that, like, yeah, you might as well say, well, we'll go 3.
Just because Seamus is clever.
No, I know. I'm just thinking of, like, if you're talking about negativity, I just think once you remove a player who can sit in the middle of the park, is someone you have to worry about. Like, I know when players, if you're down to 10 men, you've only got, and you get beat 1-0, you do tend to go, who cares?
Yeah.
And that sometimes can create a problem for the team you were winning.
Yeah, definitely. So Dunk stayed up, didn't he, for them?
So you have to look at it the other way and go, what can we do? Right, well, there's one way is put someone like Michael Keane on and say, we're going to just go, we see what you're doing and we're just going to match you on that. Or you say, well, no, actually, we're just going to ping the ball every time we get it. We tell Beto to run right, tell Chimiti to run left, and you have 2 out balls. We didn't do either.
No.
And we just brought a player on who doesn't have the same impact. And I'm not saying it cost us, but I do think you can look at it and go, how do you affect the game? But they tried to affect it, we didn't.
Jack, I mean, the real disappointment about it is that we conceded on something we actually are quite strong at, which is defending crosses. But the thing I couldn't get my head around, I really couldn't get my head around, was the fact that Tarkowski didn't just pick Lewis Dunk up. Like, Dunk had won 3 headers in the first half off corners, albeit they all went straight at Jordan Pickford. And, you know, he's very good in the air. They only really had 1 threat in the air. And Tarky's so strong in the air that I just don't understand for the life of me why he didn't just go man. We're in injury time. We've cleared the initial corner. Why Tarky's not? Well, this isn't on the manager, because I think this is on Tarkowski. This particular bit is to pick up their best header of the ball. Yes, at half time, should Sean Dyche have said, off corners, you've got to pick Lewis Dunk up because he's winning everything. You're strong. But in that moment, I think James Tarkowski's got to go, he's the danger, and I've got to be there with him, because he gets drawn towards the front post. Ben Godfrey, for everything he does well, can't jump properly, and they leave the best header of the ball. You don't leave him, but the best header of the ball gets himself in a position where he can header our goal, and he puts it probably the only place Jordan Pickford couldn't get it as well. And Beto should have done miles better than what he did do. He allowed him to be turned. If you're going to let him cross it, make him cross it with his weaker foot then, which is curling in, which means our defence. Once you let Gross get it onto his right foot and he's curling it back across you, you've got a problem. And Beto hasn't done well enough, but I just couldn't understand why Taki didn't pick Dunkel.
Yeah, I do think it starts with Beto because he has to be doing a lot better there. And it's something that does frustrate me with Beto, where he just doesn't really seem to understand a lot of football's smaller details as well. I think there's things that he does well, but as a general footballer, is he that great in terms of, you know, doing everything that comes with being a footballer? I'm not sure.
He's a nuisance, isn't he? I mean, you saw his skill set, you saw the strength of him, the one where he got it down the channel, he waited for Van Heck. As he went to make the challenge, he went again and got took out. And that as well for me with the outball, we don't play that ball enough for him either. That's his strength. Give him it to go after. But yeah.
You know, and he's a player with strength that we don't play too often enough as well. But I just look at his general game and think a lot's missing. And he is uncoached, to say this all the time, but he hasn't had that much real high-tier coach in his career, and it does show at times, unfortunately. But yeah, once the ball goes into the box, Tarkowski needs to be picking Dunk up, because everyone knows when it comes to Brighton and you're talking aerial threats, Lewis Dunk, he gets a few headed goals a season as well. He's already teased us a few times as well.
Well, he had an absolute cracking goal disallowed at Goodison, didn't he, off a set piece? You know, the volley that went in off the bar, but he was off.
So, you know, his quality, and we've got to put our best man against their best man, and I think maybe they almost tried to double up on him because they've got Godfrey and Onana with him as well, and maybe they thought, oh, better to not sacrifice
Onana's behind him, money.
Onana weren't caught up with him, so yeah, it's just frustrating and something you don't expect from this Everton team, because like you say, that's what we're meant to be good at, and it's what we are.
We are good
generally
at it, yeah.
good at as well. We don't often concede goals like that, so it is very frustrating, and to do it so late on. But for me, I just can't look at the fact that cross never should have got into the box. They should have never been in a position to cross it.
No.
Once they were, it never should have came into the box. No. And once it did, Tarkowski should have been picking them up. So yeah, he absolutely should have done better. But there's other problem areas first. How did this even be allowed to happen?
Well, that's basic, isn't it? Stop the cross. Yeah. Isn't it? Basic, and especially so late on, and especially with the sub who's, as you know, he's not played the whole game, so he should have enough energy to go and stop a cross. But listen, it was frustrating. We were what, 4 minutes away from a tremendous away win, and with the points back today, you know, that would have put us in a very healthy position. But we have, you know, it's another game. If you want to look at it, you know, you start doing glass half full. We've only lost one in whatever it is now. It's only this year anyway. It's only Man City, to forget the FA Cup. It's only Man City that have beaten us in the league this year. You know, draws are there. We're adding points on each week. If we could get the home form sorted, this away form would be quite good, because we have, you know, 5 away wins, had a few draws. I feel like it's where the manager's done really well. The coaches have done really well as how structurally good we are away. But we do have to, for me, we do have to improve in our attack and outlet, our attack and play, whether that's through patterns or a real idea of what we're doing. That has to come. Of course, with better players, it will get better. But we are practically at full, well, we were, weren't we? Practically at full strength, weren't we? I know we haven't got Arnold Danjuma at the moment, but you know, hardly played anyway. Don't know how long we're going to be without the Disagana again now, but it's a point. And listen, you know, we spoke about him before, but Jarrad Branthwaite was, I thought was brilliant at the weekend. Let's have a look at his numbers. 7 clearances, 1 tackle, 3 block shots, won 4 out of his 6 duels, and obviously scored the all-important goal. And you can see there his heat map on the left side. Absolutely brilliant. And another player who I thought done really well, like I said before, was Onana. Came on in 48 minutes. Let's have a look at Amadou. 26 touches, 2 out of 2 long balls completed, 2 tackles. He won 2 out of 2 tackles. His duels, he won 75% of them. Completed 14 of his 17 passes. And we just look, for me anyway, we just look a better side when he's in it. And obviously we don't know how bad it is at the moment. Hopefully it was precaution and he's in the squad again at the weekend. But for me, Jack Onana's got to play.
Yeah, definitely. He just gives us so much more presence in the middle, doesn't he? I thought within the first 15 minutes of him being on the pitch, he'd done more actually on the ball than the other two had combined. The first whole half, and 2 tackles as well. He got one quite early, I think, and it actually started from so far back, but he did really good in the slide tackle. Onana,
on the edge of our box.
He just comes from so far back and just picks the ball up, and that's something Garner and Gay aren't capable of. That's because their size isn't the same. I take that. I'm not saying that to criticise them, but it's something they don't have in their locker. Gay's more about winning the ball back all over the pitch in duels, isn't he? But Onana just gives us that immediate off switch for attack sometimes, or stop and counter attacks.
I mean, looking at James Garner, got 6 ball recoveries, very good. Didn't win a tackle, no tackles in 3, no blocks, but he did complete 100% of his clearances, 3 out of 3. Committed 3 fouls, but James Garner's pass rate was 92% passing accuracy, and he is. No one's be clear here. We all really like James Garner. It's just the makeup at the side sometimes is, for me, Amadou Onana as well, because he's big.
There's a lot of safe players. Onana's not a safe player.
No.
He plays on the edge of the game, and he's got a little bit about him. And all our players are just too safe. You name them all, and you name every one of our players, and you go, oh, I like him, and no one's saying, it's all that. Like McNeil, Jack Harrison, James Garner, everybody, bar maybe a couple of players where they're all so safe.
Well, let's miss 75% of his tackles won.
Yeah.
5 ball recoveries.
But Onana's got just something about him where he can get the ball moving quickly, and he can win those tackles, and people who come against him know that. They know everything's got to be right because he's going to get it. He gets across the ground really well, and that's why he's going to move on to a bigger club, and that's why someone like James Garner is going to be very comfortable at Everton for years. And that's the top and bottom of it. And whether people like it or not, we get very attached to safeness at Everton because we know it's not leaving us. And it's just true. It is true of our fan base.
I think he could be a really good player. I think
he's Tom Cleverly revisited. He's a dead. Nobody he is though, and people might want to say that, but he is. He's a dead safe player who will never leave us unless we get rid of him. And for some people, there's something nice about that. He's tidy on the ball. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't do anything wrong. But he hasn't got an edge to him. He just does the job, and that's fine. And I'm not criticising him for that. You need loads of them in your squad. But if he's taking the place of somebody who has got more than him, then to me that's nonsense.
And the manager, like I said before, the manager could have actually kept James Garner in the side anyway and pushed him off to the right, especially away, because he played. If you think back to when we beat Brentford away, he did kind of play on that right, and he was fine. It's at home.
I'm not really in favour of that.
No, but I do. I have an issue with Rick Goodison because at home we should be attacking. I can see if he wanted to put him
now,
in,
he'll take the place of Adesanya Gay eventually, and he will, and there'll be something in that consistency that will be really good for the team. And as I said, it's not
but it shouldn't be at the expense of Onana.
It shouldn't be at the expense of a player who's clearly better than him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Let's have a look at the stats from the game. Brighton won, Everton won. There 23 shots to Brighton, 6 to Everton. At half time it was 10-0. So the second half we at least got back into it a little bit. There's 7 on target for Brighton, 3 for the Blues. Just 1 big chance for Brighton, 0 for Everton.
Too much possession.
65%.
Too much possession. That's what's done us.
But really, that possession should have been a lot closer, given we played 20 minutes against 10.
Yeah,
but hey ho,
that's poor.
That is where it is. But we got a point, and again, it's an extra point. Well, it's 5 now, isn't it? With the news today, we're up to 15th, which sounds better. Come on, Moisey, do us a favour tonight. And you want them to win tonight, West Ham.
Of course.
You don't want them coming to Goodison with another and all of that. We give them a win so they relax a little bit, and then we beat them on Saturday. But let us know what you think in the comments section below. You're happy with the point? You're a bit frustrated? Do we need to do more with the ball than we are? We're not saying this is terrible and manager's terrible and he's terrible. What we're saying is, can we be doing better with it? Because it isn't good enough. But I think we are better than what we're showing on the ball. But hey, everyone, have your opinion. Let us know. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. We're going through the comments now on Toffee TV Premier, where we are live. Right, take it easy. See you later.